Darnell Nurse playing tonight?
We'll see. No, he'll be a game time decision. We'll see.
Will his presence, like, we never know if you're going 11-7 or 12-6. You've done lots of both. Does his presence tip that balance? If he plays, you go one way. If he doesn't, you go another. Is that how it works?
We'll see. Don't mean to be coy, Spec. I'm just, he'll be a game time decision, and we'll see if he's available to us.
One of the storylines that we focus on is, you know, this power through the middle of the ice with McDavid and Draisaitl and Beno and Kopitar. And I wonder with those matchups and with the way it works, if it makes it particularly more tactical from a coaching standpoint, in any way more so than any other game would be?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're strong down the middle of the rink. Lizott's a good player too. Byfield's a good player. So they're strong down the middle. We're strong down the middle. I think both teams compete very hard. Both teams will have good moments, and I'm sure their four centers will have some moments, and our four centers will have some good moments.
Given those matchups down the middle, do you view home ice advantage as being significant in this series and the meaning of last change in a series like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we earn the right through finishing a little bit higher in the standings, is that we host the series in games 1, 2, 4, and 7. And when you are the host, you do have last change, so it's something that we will utilize for sure.
When you're going to play a team every second day for possibly 2 weeks, how do you prepare for the ebbs and flows that are going to happen? Or do you have to kind of manage that on the fly a lot?
Well, I think the way we prepare is we use the last 2.5 months as dress rehearsal for this moment, which was we wanted to be ready for game 83. And so those moments presented themselves over that time span. And we made sure to capitalize on the moments as they presented themselves.
How have the philosophies of matchups changed over the years? Like Maddie and I remember a time when sometimes a matchup was a line racing to get off the ice and another line coming on and to replace it. And I assumed that it changed after they took the center red line out. But how has that changed? And do you ever expect it to get back to that moment where you go for that real hard forward against forward matchup?
I think there's some moments in games where you specifically want to see certain things. I'm a big believer in being flexible. I would never want to let another team's bench dictate who I put on the ice, especially when you have some of the players that we have. So I like being flexible. I think we have a lot of really good players. I feel comfortable with them on the ice, buddy. As I said, I've said it to some of the local media here over the last few months. I don't want to be prisoner to something that was decided beforehand. In terms of matchups, I try and use the real-time information that the players give us.
And if you do go 11-7, is one way to get away from some of the matchups from the other side is that it frees up your two big guys to play more and in different roles.
I think sometimes, and we've shown a flexibility with going 12-6 or 11-7, but one of the things when you do go 11-7 is that it's more ice time for everybody. It's not just for the two big guys, so to speak. It's more people get involved in the game, but that might be an option for us tonight. We'll see.
Jay, in the playoffs, as you all know, they don't call a lot of penalties. So is the 5-on-5 even more important than it would be in the regular season?
Well, certainly a focal point when Dave Manson and I came up from Bakersfield had been to get the 5-on-5 side of things pointed in the right direction. I think we used those 2.5 months to be prepared with a sound, a tight 5-on-5 game that you can rely on. I think anytime that you can win games in different fashions, it makes you a stronger team. And that's been a big priority for us ever since Dave and I came up in the middle of February.
Conversely, if there's not many penalties called, when you do get 1 or 2 power plays, it's imperative that you perhaps score on those because most of the game is played 5-on-5.
Well, I think what you want your special teams to do, and I would put 4-on-4 and penalty kill into that category as well, as you want your special teams to be momentum builders for your group. You know, you can't always control what the result's going to be, but you want to make sure your process is correct, and you want to build momentum for your team.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Jay, the playoffs are a different style of game. Do you feel Cassian and Fogle, the way they play, can be more successful? Is the playoffs geared to their style of play?
I think both of them have had some really good moments here over the last 2.5 months since Dave and I came up. I think Warren Fogle is a direct, straight ahead, physical type of player who does his best work from the top of the circles down. I think of Zach Cassian as being a momentum-changing having a momentum-changing physical dimension where he has the ability to close fast and get in on the forecheck, create turnovers with his physicality. I think people know when he's on the ice and that he's coming. And because of that forechecking pressure, it leads to rushed plays or turnovers.
Going back a few games, there's an incident in the Minnesota game where there's like 5 Minnesota guys and there was Kane and Yamamoto, and there was like a delayed reaction for the rest of the guys on the ice. Since that game, there seems to be more of a pack mentality. Was there a conversation that had in the room? Because there seems, not fighting, but just guys they stand up, they're more aware for one another.
Yeah, I think it's been one of the things I've been most impressed with our group of players, is that it feels like there's a brotherhood in our dressing room. And for me, when one of your brothers is in trouble, it doesn't mean you have to go and do things out of character. But when one of your brothers is in trouble, we want that pack mentality of just making sure that nobody's in a spot that is uncomfortable for them, and we'll do it together.
And lastly, a little lighthearted. We know the playoff beards are a big thing at times. You ever thought of coaches in a playoff beard? Would you do it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone here wants to see what my playoff beard would look like. And I've gotten a lot older over the years, so I'm sure it would show a lot of gray if I did grow one.